Hello and welcome to Newsbite. This week we're going to be bringing you a special edition of the programme focusing only on a couple of stories. At the end of the show we'll have a video of the first ever big passenger plane to land here on St Helena. But before then, here is Hannah Durnford with the sports.
Thank you, August. The island's 3 primary schools contested their 2016 Athletics Day on Wednesday. Liam Yon was at Francis Plain and saw the action.
Yellow and black was the cheer over at Francis Plain as St Paul's Primary School retained the coveted Primary School Athletics Trophy with 182 points. Runners-up were Pulling on 157 points and second runners-up Harford on 146. The spirit of the day could be felt from the get-go, with every race initiating an uproar of cheers for each school. Pulling and Harford had reasons to celebrate though, Pulling's Aidan Jan Stevens being named the Key Stage 2 Male Athlete of the Day, and Harford's Layla Clark picking up the Female Award. St Paul's Michelle Crowley, who set a new 50-metre record, was Key Stage 1's Athlete of the Day. Aidan's outstanding performance, which saw him set a new 400-metre record and come within 0.04 of a second from Russell Dean's 200-metre record, also saw him pick up the Rocco Henry Cup for a third consecutive year. Rocco was also honoured on the day with 5 balloons being released, symbolising 5 years since his sad passing. St Paul's Primary have now stamped their authority, finishing top for 4 years straight. And with the young talent that seems to be coming through, it is yet to be seen who can knock them off their perch.
Levelwood All-Stars picked up their second title of the season on the weekend after defeating Jamestown Barracudas in the T20 cricket final. They became T20 champions after winning 2 matches in 2 days. On Saturday, the boys from Levelwood defeated Sandy Bay Pirates in their semi-final match. They bowled Pirates for 137 but lost early wickets during the run chase. However, Stephen Liu's match-winning innings of 23 at the back end of All-Stars innings saw them over the line in the 20th over. The second semi-final saw Jamestown Barracudas knock defending champs St Matthews Lions out of the competition after a closely fought match on Saturday afternoon. David George's 69 helped Barracudas post 155. Lions batted until the end, with Scott Crowey striking 54 during the run chase but fell 14 runs short. All-Stars and Barracudas contested the final on Sunday afternoon in glorious weather. Gareth Johnson struck 80 as All-Stars posted a competitive 152. David George carried his good form into the final, striking 37 to take Barracudas close to the required target, and All-Stars were deducted 15 penalty runs for a slow over rate, but they held strong to win by 8 runs and pick up their second title of the season. Well done, All-Stars. In golf, just one competition was held over the weekend. 26 players turned up to compete in the 2-per-team Stableford Texas Scramble on Sunday. Leading the way with 47 points was Lawson Henry and Gavin Crowey. Cecil Thomas and Arthur Nookie Francis finished in second on 44 points, and were the only team to hole out in 2, scooping the ball pool in their process. Ladies volleyball continued at Francis Plain with good volley Miss Molly picking up a straight sets victory over Ballsy Ladies. They took the first set 25-10 and the second 25-13. Kim Francis was lady of the match. Volley Diggers suffered defeat at the hands of St Setters. Lady of the match Charnel Benjamin led her side to victory in match where the scores were 25-17 and 25-4.
Right, as promised, we got some footage of that Boeing 737-800 which touched down at St Helena Airport on Monday. Hundreds of people had shown up to see it land, and I'll let one of the pilots explain how the landing went in his own words.
Well, first of all, the arrival into St Helena was actually quite magnificent. A fantastic view of the island, there's good weather conditions apart from the wind. And we had always planned on our arrival to first have a look at the conditions before we actually land. So the first fly past was planned as such. We didn't put the wheels down, as you probably noticed. We just flew over the runway to assess the conditions. The second approach, we really wanted to see exactly what the conditions were under the approach on that specific runway. And a little bit worse than we expected. The aircraft has what we call a wind shear warning system in it. So that gave us the warning, and that normally necessitates a go around anyway. So we went around after the second one, and then we knew exactly what the situation was, what to expect on the third approach, and then obviously that was successful.
So the second approach was actually an aborted attempt, was it then?
Yes, that is correct, yes.
So what was it? Was it just the wind that really took you, or was there more things to it?
Yeah, look, we did expect the wind and the turbulence and the wind shear, because the previous aircraft that were here, the King Air and the Challenger, did warn us of the conditions, but we had to come and experience it ourselves with our specific aircraft to see exactly what happens. We've done it now, and so we know exactly what to expect.
So you're a pilot yourself. I know you weren't actually flying the plane this time, but from your experience, how does this airport compare with other ones around the world, for both landing and other things as well?
Well, it's unique, specifically because of the height above sea level and the close proximity to the sea. On that specific runway 20, which is the one that we'll probably use most often, it is quite difficult. It is tough with the southeasterly winds blowing all the time, never wavering. They are always there. That makes it a bit tougher. The opposite runway on 02 is actually quite benign as far as the previous aircraft have reported to us. We will probably go and test that this afternoon ourselves to see what it's like. But then obviously you're landing with quite a strong tailwind, which is not the ideal either. So yes, St Helena is quite unique.
Although Captain Louw is a pilot, it was this man, Johan Prever, who actually flew the plane on that day. The inside of the plane itself is quite new. It's a brand new Boeing 737-800 jet with plush leather seats. One of the people on board was Dion de Jager, who is Basil Reid's island director. He became the first ever person to take a weekend break away from St Helena. My colleague Damien Obey spoke to Dion and a couple of other people who have travelled and seen the plane on the day.
I'm here with Basil Reid's island director, Dion de Jager. Dion, you just arrived on the first passenger jet to land here on St Helena. Can you describe the experience?
Great experience. I mean, it's just a cherry on the cake after the 4 years work. Friday morning I flew out on the AC flight. I went home, spent the weekend with the family, played golf yesterday, and today I'm back on the island. And I mean, that's the signs of the times, eh? Yeah. And that's the whole reason for the airport, is to be able to travel back and forth as you please.
Yeah. How proud of you are of your team here and what they've achieved for you to be able to actually touch down on St Helena in an airplane today?
No, very proud. It's 4 years in the making. Between Basil Reid, expats, Saint, everyone we employed on the project. I mean, to see the Boeing there on the apron park now and passengers getting off their aircraft, that's what we've been working for, so they can be truly proud of what they've accomplished.
I'm here with Director of Operations for Comair, Martin Louw. Martin, you were a part of the flight. You're also a pilot yourself. Can you describe the experience of flying to St Helena for the first time?
Excellent experience. Very far over the sea, obviously. Beautiful view coming into St Helena. A little bit challenging on the landing, as you probably noticed, but we did try a few approaches just to make sure that everything's fine before we actually landed. But wonderful to be here. It's been a long process, about a 5-year process to get everything in place to be here today. A lot of hard work, more work than we actually anticipated initially, but very glad to be here.
Okay. You are Director of Operations and you weren't the pilot for this particular flight. What do you have to say about the guy who actually did land this plane here on the runway for the first time?
He did an excellent job. It's Captain Johan Prever. He's one of our senior pilots. He is our flight technical manager, and as such he was in charge of the whole project to develop all the operational requirements to be able to fly to St Helena. That's why we gave him the privilege to actually do the first flight.
Okay. I'm here with one of the first people to ever touch down on a passenger plane here on St Helena, Mr. Derek Alexander. Derek, can you describe the experience for us?
Yeah, Damien, it was really great. It's an honor and a privilege to be one of the first passengers that lands on St Helena. I think first of all it's a great day. It's nice to see all the people out here, and yeah, it was a great flight. And congratulations to the crew of the plane. I think they did an outstanding job. Can't say the nerves aren't a little bit shot, but that goes with the territory, I think. But it's a privilege to land at an airport that you've built.
This is the first step, a plane landing on St Helena. What does this now mean for tourism on St Helena?
Well, now we've got the gateway to get people here. Before we had to rely on the ship, the RMS coming backwards and forwards. This means we can have a steady stream. At first it'll be that Saturday flight people will get used to, and then once that's been filling up, hopefully we'll have a midweek one, and that's the way we can really develop tourism. And it becomes worth people investing in restaurants, bars, other things that will help the tourists here. So the start of a new era for St Helena.
Susan Obey and Graham Vest, guys, you were here to witness the first ever passenger jet land on St Helena. First of all, you, Graham, how does it feel? Or can you describe the experience?
It was absolutely amazing, and I feel really privileged to be here at this momentous occasion. It really is such a historic event. I feel absolutely wonderful. I feel proud of everything that's been done by you guys on the island. Thank you.
Okay. And you, Susan?
Excited, extremely excited. This is like the culmination of weeks, months, years of hard work, as far back as 2005, and we're really, really proud of everything that's been achieved today.
Okay. And what's the next steps after today now?
We're going to build a hotel.
That's right.
And of course, hopefully after today, we'll be seeing this will become a regular occurrence.
During its time here on the island, the Boeing 737-800 did a few test flights to check out the conditions. It seems to be a tricky landing, but the pilots do seem to be confident. The jet left again on Wednesday afternoon at just before 5 o'clock in front of a very small audience this time. It took off about halfway down the runway and flew into the distance. Right, so that's it here from us at Newsbite. Until next week, we're going to leave you with this video of the plane touching down on Monday.